Hi everyone, Internet PCS book reader here. Today I want to talk about She's Always Hungry by Eliza Clark. Eliza is the author of Boy Parts, a really good dark comedy that is obviously inspired by American Psycho, and it's so good. After all, if you want to be inspired, why not be inspired by one of the best? Boy Part itself is a story about a woman who keeps dating men, younger men, and might or might not be eating them after the dates. And by it, I mean as lunch and dinner, Hannibal Lecter style. Apparently, she also wrote another book, Penance, in 2023, which I completely missed. I really need to get that book, but in the meanwhile, let's go through this one. She's Always Hungry, unlike Boy Part, is a collection of 11 short stories. The book opens with Build a Body Like Mine, where the main character is describing a service she gave that helped with getting slim, but in a very exaggerated way. She described having no excess, no body fat at all. She promised people that they won't have to shove their finger down their throat to vomit their food back up. She even offers a subscription-based service and people just need to find her in a dark corner. The way she described her ideal body is a very anorexic way to put it mildly, which makes sense because she is anorexic. She's a very unreliable narrator and the shortness of the story only makes that aspect stronger. She then goes through her life experience with food, body dysmorphia, eating disorder, and the shame of it all, especially when she compared her body to her girlfriend who cannot get fat despite how many things she ate. But she just so happened to stumble into a way that can make her lose weight without any need to do the usual having to force herself to get the food she just ate back out again, and now no one can stop her from losing weight. If anything, she's trying to spread the good word of tapeworm. It's disgusting, it's body horror, and it's so good. Then we go to the second story, The Problem Solver. In the story, Juliet tells her friend Oscar about the event on Friday last week where she was assaulted by a guy. Juliet just wanted to tell someone, anyone, but her choices is currently limited since most of her friends are away right now, so she talked to Oscar even if he's not her first choice because he was there. She doesn't want to make it a big deal, but Oscar don't want that, so he confronted her rapist in a public way where all her friends and co-workers and the rapist friend is hanging out in a bar, making a huge spectacle out of punishing the rapist. It's a combination of feminine horror and social anxiety horror, and it's also really good. Then we move to the third story and the title of the book, She's Always Hungry. This is a story that is going to be harder to describe compared to the other just because of how it is written. It's nursery rhyme from top to bottom and it's a longer story compared to the previous two. So you will really need to read it yourself to get the full experience from the story. The story itself is sea horror where rowdy fishermen who often fought against each other in a meaningless way. Main character John then goes to the sea with another seaman after there was some debate among the men on who is to blame for the fight at the pub. They have another fight at the ship and our main character got pushed into the sea where he found some kind of mermaid. Whatever it is, John took it to the town and hid it. Then he's starting to change the town. The town has already been enveloped in a strange atmosphere due to the way the story is told, but it got even weirder after it came. It also started to change more human, more woman, and one day it accidentally caught another man who is not a good man, so it killed him with John's help since John is no longer in control of his own action at that point. The woman of the town who realized that John was affected by the sea creature tried to stop him. They captured him and was about to burn him as an example for the other seamen not to be a victim of the sea creature, but it had affected everyone in town. It sent the men of the town to drown at the ocean and let the woman follow their man. It now lived among the surviving women without them noticing her as John burned in the stake that they prepared for him. This might be the best Lovecraftian horror I've read this year and I've gone through the Call of Cthulhu. Speaking of Lovecraftian, the fourth story, Shadow of Little Chitaly, is another interestingly told story. If She's Always Hungry is told through nursery rhyme, this one was told through a series of food review from a hybrid fusion restaurant called Chitaly that serves pizza and Chinese food. The story is located among the various 1 or 2 stars reviews that are confused about the food they ordered. A Hawaiian pizza that comes in the form of poke bowl, pineapple pizza with apples instead of pineapples. There's something strange about the restaurant more than its menu though. The delivery is strangely quick. Some is even instantaneous, a few seconds after they finish their online order. The delivery guy is this strange man who wear a helmet bag but drive a car that just said "Good day mate." The author somehow managed to pull a light-hearted cosmic horror from restaurant review. Not everyone actually had a bad experience, and despite the wrong order kept coming out, the food itself was fine. But the restaurant itself feels alive. It seems to know what people think. Some people who bought food after reading the funny reviews didn't get what they went to, which is supposed to be a mess up order from what they ordered, but they didn't get that. They get the right order. And when a person came over to check the restaurant in person, the restaurant is exactly, and I mean exactly the way they expect it to, including some choice decor. They also know her name without her giving it to them. It feels like if another god opened a restaurant and pretending like they're normal human. It's this is a fun horror compared to some of the darkest theme stories we've gone through, but it's also really good. The next story is Hollow Bones. We follow Min, who is chained to her bed talking to her alien friend Fan. She was injured after being chased by something, and now she woke up in a government spaceship that saved them, but she didn't remember much about what happened that caused her to be injured or to lose her consciousness. To make things worse, her translator device is slightly damaged, so her communication with Fan had some lags on them and a few missing words. Between the bad translation, the anti-pain drugs, the hallucination, and the disagreement between Fan and the doctor on the ship that rescued them, it's another cosmic horror, but this time with sci-fi, space, and body horror from what Min is doing to her own injuries. It's sickening, disgusting, and really good again. And then we follow up that story with God GF, like literally, that's the title. If you're familiar with Jody Grip, the new sound, the main character in his album was a guy who got obsessed with a sex worker, like intensely obsessed. The main character here is a bit like that with his god co-worker at a bar, but not nearly as intense. He just have a humiliation king. There's a bit of social anxiety horror, but it's nowhere near the level of all the other stories. If anything, it's a bit more tender compared to the others, but it's still really good. Then we go back to space with the extinction event. Because of climate change, the world has gone to the shit. A group of people even started bombing the Fortune 500 companies as a result. The government, of course, designated them as terrorists like a certain Loiki. They also started kidnapping scientists. Scientists that specialize in fixing nature or even just nature in general. Our main character is one of these kidnapped scientists who is trying to study the cacti-looking plant they found from different desert planets. But these are more than just plants. These are living creatures that can feel pain, and they even gave birth to other plants by giving birth. If anything, these are the alien life form of those planets. But one of them was found to eat away microplastic, so they started breeding thousands of them. When the original came back, it started getting sick and then it started dying. But the scientists who found all of this cannot stop the government from killing them to prolong our existence. This climate change horror is one of those maybe we are the bad guys kind of story, and despite how short this is, it's also really good. And that's really how this short story collection goes. Maybe that's why the next story, Night Stalker, which is just for teenagers trying to find their identity, felt so different. Because at that point, I really don't expect a coming of age story. Then followed by Shakewell, another body horror with feminine horror that really charges your stomach. Then there's the half-serious post-apocalyptic immortal cannibal story from The King that's just fun to read. Before the book ends with Company Man, about a woman who is trying to change her life by changing her name, but the guilt of the past haunts her dream and is now chasing after her not just through dreams. It's a haunting story. This is the best short story collection I've ever read. The closest I've read in horror short story are the one anthology that Jordan Peele made, but the other there could learn a thing or two on how to use exposition from this book. The exposition here are short and scattered subtly throughout the story, and it's always only just enough to give the readers all the context they need, so it doesn't clog up the story. If you like reading horror, this is not just one of the best horror stories you could go into, it also might be the best short story collection I've ever had the pleasure to experience. I give this a 5. What do you think? Let me know if I missed anything, so leave your thoughts in the comment below and subscribe to the channel. That's about it. See ya.